Hello and welcome to Diplomatic Derivatives International Relations Sudan Series Episode 2. Today we return to Darfur, a name that sent shivers through the world 2 decades ago. Today the question looms, is genocide returning? In this episode, we trace the history, examine the present, and ask how much the world has truly changed. So let's begin. The Darfur crisis first exploded in 2003 when rebel groups including the Sudan Liberation Army and the Justice and Equality Movement rose up against the government, accusing it of neglecting the region's non-Arab communities. Just to remind, Sudan is divided into two groups, that is, SLA and JEM belonging to the non-Arab African tribes, whereas the government identifies as Arab-identified militias. The divide is based on ethnic supremacy, racism, and control of land or power. In response, the Sudanese government armed Arab militia known as Janjaweed, which conducted systematic raids, bombings, village burnings, and mass killings of the Fasher, Masalit, and Zaghawa ethnic groups. Between 2003 and 2005, estimates suggest around 200,000 people died and more than 2 million were displaced. These acts led to the criminal court ICC to open an investigation into war crimes and genocide in Darfur. Darfur was once treated as a textbook case of genocide. The world watched, gave warnings, but action was limited. Now we ask, are the warning signs returning? The ongoing war in Sudan, which erupted in April 2023 between the Sudanese Armed Forces and RSF, that is a Rapid Support Force, Darfur has once again become a focal point of violence and tragedy. By October 2025, more than 10.8 million people were internally displaced, and the humanitarian situation was described by Human Rights Watch as one of the world's largest catastrophes. In late 2024-2025, the RSF laid a siege around the city of Fasher in North Darfur. The city's population fell by 62% from pre-war levels as supply lines were cut and civilians trapped. When civilians are besieged, cut off from aid, hungry, and wounded, you see the prelude to mass atrocities, and the warnings are flashing red. Multiple human rights organizations have documented widespread targeting of non-Arab communities by the RSF and allied militia in Darfur. For example, Human Rights Watch concluded the patterns raise the possibility that genocide has been and/or is being committed in West Darfur. In September 2025, a drone strike by the RSF reportedly killed at least 75 worshippers in a mosque in Fasher, including children. These actions echo earlier phases of the Darfur genocide, deliberate attacks on civilians, forced displacement, and destruction of livelihoods. Genocide is not just killing, it's the murderous targeting of groups for who they are. The indicators are unmistakable. With the fall of Fasher, the last major SAF stronghold in Darfur, the region has now virtually come under exclusive RSF control. Analysts warn Sudan is edging closer to de facto partition, a fractured state split into militia-ruled zones versus a shrinking national capital. The human cost is catastrophic. Mass displacement from Fasher after more than 500 days of siege, credible reports of ethnically targeted killings against non-Arab communities, hospitals destroyed, aid blocked, and the UN warns of imminent famine. According to UNICEF, hundreds of thousands of children across Darfur now face acute malnutrition, while survivors flee into the desert with nothing but fear and uncertainty. International justice cannot pause. The ICC must expand its investigations into the fresh atrocities in Fasher. Arms pipelines must be exposed. Above all, humanitarian access must be enforced quickly. Starvation used as a weapon is a war crime, not collateral damage. The question is stark and urgent. Will Darfur remain a tragedy the world only acknowledges after the bodies are counted, or will humanity finally refuse to look away? Thanks for watching Darfur, the Return of Genocide. If you believe this deserves attention, hit like, share, and subscribe because silence in Darfur becomes complicity. Up next, we'll see Episode 3, Proxy Battleground, How Foreign Powers Fuel Sudan's War Economy. That's all for today. Thank you. Bye-bye.